Hey guys, it's Mr. Cole, and I'm receiving some math questions from you guys, which is great. It's good to know you guys are still working hard in school, still loving math. I hope you guys are all doing well. I want to keep these videos relatively short for your own convenience and for mine, because I know how discouraging it can be when you open up a video and it's, like 50 minutes long. I want to stay away from that because I know it can just defeat you right from the get-go. So I want to keep these videos around 10 to 15 minutes long for each one. I'll try my best. The setup isn't ideal. You guys are just on a bunch of books and a couple candles I found in my house. But we'll see what we can do. Okay, so let's get right into it. Substitution and elimination, right? So a lot of people always ask, should I do substitution or should I do elimination, right? And the answer is either, whichever one you like more. For most part, you can do substitution or elimination for any equation. There's a couple cases where it's really not feasible. It's not very realistic to do one or the other, but for the most part, you can do either. So just choose whichever one you like the best and see where it takes you. I know that I like to do substitution, but when I was in high school, one of my friends, the valedictorian, I was salutatorian, she was valedictorian, she did elimination all the time, and she swore by it. So it's really just your own preference. So let's start out with substitution. I'm going to try to keep everything in frame as best as I can, but like I said, with the current setup, it's not exactly easy. Okay, so substitution, right? What substitution says is exactly what it sounds like, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to be substituting, okay? We're going to putting something in place of another thing. So looking at our equation, we know that y equals x squared minus 2x minus 1, right? So essentially what y is x squared minus 2x minus 1. So what we can do is anywhere we see y, we can plug in this part right here, x squared minus 2x minus 1. And that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to plug that in for y here, okay? So let's do that. And what we get is x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals, right? So this is this part right here. What I just wrote down, it's this part. Equals negative 2x plus 3. Now, all we have to do is combine like terms, right? So I'm going to add 2x to the other side. What does that get us? X squared. Negative 2x plus 2x, that goes away. Leaves 0, right? And then minus 1 gets dragged down. Equals 3, right? So let's combine like terms further. Plus 1 plus 1. 4 equals x squared, right? So how do we get x by itself? Isolate it, right? Let's square root both sides. And we get x equals, if you were to say x equals 2, you'd be right. X does equal 2, but x also equals negative 2. So the way we say that is we say x equals plus or minus 2, okay? So let's move on. And you could also write it as x equals 2. That was really ugly. X equals 2 and x equals negative 2, okay? But for the meantime, let's move on to elimination, right? We'll come back to this, trust me. I just totally skipped a couple words, a couple letters. Elimination, right? Okay, so elimination, what we're gonna do, and this is important, is we need like a placeholder, okay? We need a placeholder, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So I'll write down the other equations. Y equals x2, or x squared, sorry, minus 2x minus 1. And then for the second one, right, I don't know if you guys can see that, hopefully, y equals negative 2x plus 3. But we're not going to write that. We're going to keep a placeholder in for the x squared spot. So we're going to say 0x squared minus 2x plus 3. Now you see everything lines up nicely. We have the same power of terms in each spot. So in order to eliminate, I'm going to subtract, okay? This will come in handy in just a second. You'll see why, okay? So we're going to be subtracting, and what we end up with is y minus y equals 0, right? Easy enough. x squared minus 0x squared. You could write 1x squared here. It means the same exact thing. There's an invisible 1 there, right? So 1x squared minus 0x squared equals 1x squared. I'm just going to write x squared, right? Negative 2x. Okay, so here's where the minus comes in handy. Negative 2x minus, right, because we're subtracting. And then I'm concerned with this whole term right here, right? So negative 2x minus negative, can't catch a break, minus 2x, right? So what we have here is we have a double negative, right? So this is easy. Just add them together then. So negative 2x plus 2x equals 0, right? So that goes away. I'll write it down for you guys. Plus 0x. Then here we have negative 1 minus positive 3, right? Which would equal negative 4. Okay, so we end up with is 0 equals x squared minus 4. I'm going to throw the 4 to the other side. So I end up with x squared equals 4, right? This should be looking a little bit familiar, right, to what we had up here. X squared equals 4. We'll go a little bit further. X, so we have to square root both sides. So x equals square root of 4, or x equals plus or minus 2, right? That's exactly what we had up here. So in a way, we both converged at the same answer, both reached the same answer despite using different methods, right? So that's what I want you guys to realize, is that you can use substitution or you can use elimination, right? I'm a little bit out of space on this side, so I'm going to flip to the other side. I'm going to keep what we had, x equals plus or minus 2. I'll write it as the other way though. X equals 2 and x equals negative 2, right? And I'm going to write down our equations here just for reference because we're on the other side of the paper now. X squared minus 2x minus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 3. Okay, so these are just for reference. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in x equals 2 into our equation, right? So I'm going to plug in for x equals 2, right? So I'm going to use the first equation, y equals, I'm plugging in 2 everywhere I see x, right? Do it 2 times 2, right? Plugged in 2 for x everywhere I saw it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for y. So 2 squared is 4, minus 2 times 2 is 4, minus 1, right? So 4 minus 4, that goes to 0, right? So y equals negative 1. Now it's always a good idea to check your answer, to plug it into the second equation right here, right? So that's exactly what we're going to do. Y equals negative 2x plus 3. Now remember, we're plugging in 2 everywhere we see x. Okay? So just like that. So now y equals negative 2 times 2 is negative 4 plus 3. Y equals negative 1, right? So it checks out, right? Makes sense. So our first ordered pair was we plugged in x equals 2. So we have 2, comma, and we solved for y and we got negative 1, right? So that's our first ordered pair. Good. Next we're going to plug in x equals negative 2, right? And we're going to do the same exact thing we just did. So y equals negative 2 squared minus 2 times negative 2. Messed that up a little bit. Sorry about that. 2 times negative 2 minus 1. And we're going to solve, right? So negative 2 squared equals 4. Negative 2 times negative 2 equals also 4, right? Positive. And then minus 1. So we get y equals 4 plus 4 is 8, minus 1 is 7, right? Plug in the other equation just to check. Y equals negative 2 times negative 2 plus 3, right? So y equals negative 2 times 2 is positive 4 plus 3, so y equals 7, right? Now we plugged in x equals negative 2 and we got 7, so our answer for our ordered pairs is negative 2, comma 7, right? So this is our second ordered pair. So these are our answers, essentially, right? Is this one and this one. So if you were to write it out, you would write 2, negative 1, and negative 2, 7. Now I'm going to keep this a little bit short on the conceptual part, but essentially what you have is when you're solving for these equations using elimination and substitution, right, you are you're finding intersection points, okay? You can plug these into Desmos, these equations up here that we started with, and what you'll see is you'll see this down here. I'll draw you a graph, okay? You can plug it in a graphing calculator, Desmos, whatever you want. So this is our y equals x squared minus 2x minus 1, okay? And then what we have is negative 2x plus 3 for our other one, right? So that looks something like this. Remember, this is a terrible drawing if I'm going to be completely honest. This is y equals negative 2x plus 3, but you get the idea. So essentially, what we're looking for are intersection points, and that's easy to see that there are intersection points right here. Right, hopefully you guys can see this. Right here and right here, right? So our intersection points are, going back to our answers, right? For this one is obviously the negative 2, 7, right here, that intersection point. And then this one down here, right? This intersection point down here is the other answer that we got, 2, negative 1, right? And that is our answer, right? We solved for the intersection points. We got these ordered pairs. That's the answer. As for which method you want to choose, that is completely up to you, whether you want to do substitution or elimination. Completely your choice. For the most part, you can do either. So that's about it. If you guys have any more math questions, make sure to email me. You guys have my email. And stay safe and just keep doing math, I guess, you know. It's very fun. I had a good time with this one. So thank you. See you guys.